Okay, well, I mean, listen. It's 11 o'clock p.m. on a Friday night. I'm home alone. Uh, I'm vintage cubing because I got nothing better in the world to do. Um, and I'm not going to not first pick a time spiral. Like, come on. Come on. You can't expect me to not first pick a time spiral. I mean, you could. It's not the correct pick here, like, to be clear. Um, the correct pick is probably like, wow, it's really the biggest they scale up. Geez, Magic Online really doesn't know how to handle a high resolution display, huh? The correct pick here is probably like, I don't know. Natural Order's pretty good. Upheaval's pretty good. Orzhov Signet's pretty good. What? No, don't take that. But we're taking the Time Spiral and we're going to try to Force Storm because we are not cowards. And cowards cannot block warriors. We're going to take the Tendrils of Agony. I don't really want this going around the table. I mean, yeah, there's a real argument to be made for Rakdos Signet, though. This card is very strong. And honestly, more decks than Tendrils. Yeah, all right, we'll take the Rakdos Signet. Try to pretend that we're drafting responsibly to a small degree. You can play Time Spiral in non-Storm decks, technically, if you really want to. I don't, but you can. Ooh. I'm a rare person who loves drafting Storm and Cube and also loves drafting Mono Red. I draft Mono Red because I can't stand how little people respect it. Like, third pick Goblin Guide is, I mean, I guess it's fair, but like this is easily a first pick quality card. It's just very, very good. I mean, on the other hand, there's an Ancient Tomb. Goes really well with the Signet. Goes really well with Time Spiral. We're probably just going to take it here, but yeah, if that Goblin Guide comes around again and we're not getting hooked up for Storm, we could pretty easily just pivot. Yeah, I'm literally maxing out these sliders here. Hey, Sanao. Welcome to Late Night Vintage Cube. Well, if we'd taken the Goblin Guide, I'd probably be taking Rekindling Phoenix here. Card's pretty good. Instead, I think we're going to take a Faithless Looting. It's not the best Storm card, but it is a Storm card. Can get you out of some tight spots. And honestly, like, if we were pretending to be responsible here, would we even pick? Go for the Throat's okay, I guess. But whatever, that's boring. I don't want to be boring. I reluctantly admit that Wishclaw Talisman is pretty alright in Storm. Because you just play this on 2 most of the time, and don't activate it until the turn you're going off. And then that's pretty solid. Basalt Monolith also quite good for, the fast manas. Zerax Arc is a win condition. I'm just going to take the Talisman, though. I like Baral, but I really like Seething Song. I like Baral more than, I don't know, some people seem to. Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, that's not what I'm doing right now tonight, but that is definitely a true statement. Well, this is the first pack we've really bricked on, I would say. What does this card actually do? What a boring card. I mean, Kaya deserves better. This is such a milquetoast hoser. I mean, it's good, I guess, but really? I kind of like taking off-pick dual lands, but man, this one sucks so bad. There's really no white cards you want to play, and that's just one of the worst duels, so... I'll take a Young Pyro, I guess. I don't think this card is awesome in this deck, but it's like, you can sort of assemble some hacked together wins. Yawgmoth's Bargain is not really great. We'll see if we wheel that Tendrils. If we don't, we might be in some degree of trouble. Could take a Metalworker here. This isn't the wildest thing. we've got 2 artifacts, and we're taking it over effectively nothing. Revoker's a decent disruption, but it's not really where you want to be. Sacred Foundry is better than the other land, but again, there's just not white you want to splat for. If we were taking this, it would be to get it off of a Mized fetch land, which is not unreasonable. But, go for the high upside. Reasonable. No, this was the pack with Tendrils, so we're fighting an uphill battle here. Next pack is the pack with Goblin Guide. So, okay, Goblin Guide also not here. Oh, boy. Okay. I'm, quietly building a white-red aggro deck in my sideboard here. As penance for my sins. Yeah. This did not go great. I will say that. We could pivot. It's not unreasonable to just pivot here, go for something white-red. Obviously, white is wide open. We'll definitely be able to assemble something resembling a deck. Adonto Vanguard, very good card. Archangel Avacyn, also very good. Oh, Gideon Black-White. Yeah, honestly, Tendrils didn't wheel. Nothing we have here is, great. These white cards are actually very strong. So we're probably just pivoting. Sorry to lead you on and then rip the rug out from under you, but strong card. Actually, I've been really impressed with Selfless Spirit, but we're going to take... we're not necessarily red. We've got Shieldbreaker, which is okay. All of our red cards are fine. None of them are great. White was super open. So I'm going to, be open to the possibility of going mono white. Almost wish I took the Nykthos, actually. Although, I think I took a white card over it, so maybe that doesn't matter as much. Yeah, I mean, white is what I should be playing without a shadow of a doubt. It's just a question of, how much do I think I can get away with not playing? And there's a Yawgmoth's Will to just fucking taunt me. I'm not taking it. I don't want to fight with someone else for Storm. When there's a pretty good deck open, I'll just take my, earn back my entry fee and draft again. Do better that time. White is not as open from the left. I mean, we can't tell. This is 2 picks in, and Restoration Angel and Sword are both totally reasonable mono white cards, but it was a little unfortunate. Wow, Smuggler's Copter is great. What a strong card. I'd love to pick up some 1-drops. I think people underrate 1 mana 2/1s in this deck. Not that people correctly rate anything about this deck, but I think one of the keys from a cube building perspective to making mono white viable is to have 1 mana 2/1s be good. It's a little bit awkward. Parallax Wave is okay. If we want to be really heavy red, Eidolon is good. We did also pass up 2 red-white dual lands, so mea culpa. I probably could have had those pretty trivially. But instead I was an idiot. Could take Sword of Body and Mind. This is kind of a weird one, because obviously 2 hits with it is just pretty much lethal. But it's very weak to Eldrazi, and which are a real thing that people play in this format, and it doesn't actually increase your aggro clock that much, so it's kind of all in relative to Feast and Famine or whatever. Probably just gonna take Parallax Wave here. I don't know, maybe the Sword was good, maybe Light Up the Stage was good if we get Plateau or something, but I really don't want to bet on that. I think we can assemble 23 white cards if we have to. I think there was an Armageddon pack one too. Oh, I wouldn't swear to that. No, that was last pack actually, I think. Listen, sometimes you make a shot and that shot misses. And unfortunately, although a hacked together didn't quite get their Storm deck can be pretty fun, it can also be kind of demoralizing if you really don't get there, and it did not look like we were really getting there. Of the cards we took, I think really Rakdos Signet, Time Spiral, and Ancient Tomb are the only ones that I'm actively excited about. I mean, Tundra is actually not the worst. There's some pretty decent blue cards to splash in this deck that go relatively late. I mean, like, we'd take a Ludero Core, for example, especially if we got Sword back. And, like, over not much, honestly. Like, is Geist of St. Traft in this deck, in this cube? I'm not sure. But it very plausibly, and that's great in this deck. Like, Containment Priest is, I mean, it's a reasonable hate bear. That is a thing you want to hate against in this format, but even at 11 cards, there's a pretty good chance it'll come back. Okay, there's the Armageddon. Pretty happily take this over Dual Land, I think. Stoneforge Mystic. Now I really wish I'd picked up and a Lion's Eye Diamond this late. Wow. I don't know what was going on. Like, I don't know what other Storm Drafters are doing right now. Not picking Lion's Eye Diamond and Yawgmoth's bargain, I guess. Will. Worn Power Stone? What is going on here? I guess we'll take Tithe Taker. I think this card is pretty mediocre, but thank you. Glad to know it. All right, Wield an Oblivion Ring, which is, I think, the only other white card in this pack, so. World of Feast of Famine. Okay, wow, okay, what? So, I guess whoever took the tendrils, either they just hate drafted it because they hate me, or they decided they were getting too cut off as well and gave up on Storm. Because this is, like, this Wield, this Yawgmoth's Will. I'm not going back into Storm. I'm not that buck wild, but we might have been able to actually cobble together a deck in the end, hilariously. I mean, there are a lot of decks that you can technically cobble together if you have precognition of what's going to wheel and what isn't, right? I might actually play two swords in this deck. Normally, I don't super love playing two swords because they can kind of clog up your hand, but with a Stoneforge Mystic, that kind of reduces the risk of it a bit, because you'll draw one for free, you can cast them for cheaper, that sort of thing. You can tutor for the one that has protection against the deck you're playing against, which all really makes the swords, stronger. All right, we really just want playables to fill out our deck. We've got the Armageddon. We've got pretty decent curve. We got the Adonto Vanguard, which I think is probably the strongest card. The strongest white card in this deck. Smuggler's Copter might be stronger. Just disrespectful. Just outright disrespectful. I'm so disappointed in whoever else is at this table. All right, we'll take a Mox. We won't not take a Mox. Yeah, hope to wheel Gideon or Relic Order here. Really, whatever. I want to turn one a Smuggler's Copter. Or a Stoneforge Mystic. Ooh, this is not great. I guess this cube still doesn't have Ikoria stuff in, which is kind of weird. Like, I know the modern cube they ran didn't, because that was before Ikoria came out. I guess, or like one of the cubes they ran, I guess it was the vintage cube they ran before the modern cube, didn't have Theros cards in it, and now this one has Theros cards but not Ikoria cards, I guess. I did play against this in the modern cube, and it was brutal. Convinced me to put it in my cube. We're just going to take Stonecoil Serpent here, because it's just good at every point in the curve, except for one. Not great at two, but you know what I mean. I don't think Linvala is awesome. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, they put Vintage Cube up in the, like, week 2 of Ikoria, which is buck wild, but, and Condemn is just not good in an aggro deck. And I'm drafting your deck, Michelle. Brain Freeze. We started out, we drafted, like, Storm for the first half of pack 1. Maybe a little bit more than half, if we're being honest. And when a Tendrils didn't whale, and white was like wildly open, we bailed. And then pack 2, we just like we saw a Yawgmoth's Will and a Lion's Eye Diamond go around the table, and it was incredibly demoralizing. Anyway, yeah, balance is a broken card, so I'm going to take it. Unmulligans you, and so on. When it's bad, you just don't play it. Easy peasy. All right, I do like Honor of the Pure a lot. Like it more than Light and Shadow, which may well wheel. Light and Shadow's the worst sword in a vacuum, and we're the one who has Stoneforge, so no one is like taking it just to make their Stoneforge work. I guess we'll take Chrome Mox here. Chrome Mox is good with balance, so we'll probably play it. Generally, I like Chrome Mox a little bit more in decks that can regain card advantage, but again, balance is a way to do that, let's say. Chrome Mox is good with balance because it makes your hand smaller, which means that they have to discard more to balance. And because it's an artifact, and balance ignores artifact, so you basically get a free card off of them. 2, kind of. Just like turn 1, Mox land balance. And they have to discard a bunch. Probably taking Legion's Landing over Hangar Backwalker here. A 1-drop is nice to have for like Smuggler's Copter, for the swords, just like cheap stuff to put stuff on. I don't think this card is great, but you know, it can get you an extra land to hit your Sun Titan or whatever. Ooh, Thalia is a good one. I think Thalia and yeah, I don't know, Michelle. We have a lot of 2-drops. I sort of think of Walker mostly as a 2-drop. We have no 1-drops yet, so I could be wrong. You're more the expert than I am. I'm going to take Tangle Wire, I think. I really don't like these 5-mana angels. Well, I could take Elspeth. We're pretty aggressive to be playing an Elspeth, but like one of the things that makes a white aggro deck tick is the ability to sort of do stuff after the initial... Do somewhat more powerful stuff after the initial go. I have no idea, so now I'm not sure if anyone's come out and said exactly, all right, wield the Relic Order, wheel everything. That is disrespectful for Uro. That card's very good. I doubt anyone has come out and just said it. My guess is that, like, it's already a fiendishly complicated template originally, and my guess is they, like, couldn't fit the words or something like that. Anyway, I was saying earlier, I think one of the important things to make white good in Cube is to have like some amount of limitation on how many random hosers of 1 toughness creatures you have. Because a lot of what makes white good is like it has a bunch of 2/1s. We didn't really get any, but it has a bunch of 2/1s for 1. It has like Adanto Vanguard, which is effectively a 3/1. It has Thalia as a 2/1. The one that makes their creatures enter tapped is a 2/1. Stuff like that. And so having stuff like, I don't know, Forked Bolt or Walking Ballista, for example, that just really absolutely destroys those cards, really puts a damper on how strong white can be, because you can just sideboard in or just have main deck cards that absolutely wreck its early starts. And it needs those early starts, because that's sort of what aggro does. So like that's why I don't have Walking Ballista in my cube. Well, I think it's kind of a mistake to include it here. Because like, you know, if this deck plays against Walking Ballista, I'm just very, very sad. We need 1 cut here. It's probably a 6-drop, which means it's probably Sun Titan, because Elspeth's a lot stronger than Sun Titan. I don't think we can play... Oh, and that's... Yeah, I guess Chrome Mox does count as a land because it exiles a spell, but I don't think we can play 16 mana sources here with 2 6-drops anyway, so... We could play Ancient Tomb. Is that good? It's good with like Smuggler's Copter. It's good with swords. It's good with Stonecoil Serpent and Ravages of War and Restoration Angel. And yeah, it's probably good with enough stuff that it's worth playing. Can side it out against. Oh yeah, Tundra's terrible. Thank you. Just forgot I had that in there. All right, let's slam. This is somewhat less sweet than what we thought we were drafting, but you know what? It'll win us games. Hopefully. Traditionally, Mono White has been pretty decent in the Vintage Cube, even though it has stuff like Walking Ballista, largely because it just punishes so hard decks that want to do bullshit nonsense, like the deck we were trying to draft. People just don't respect creature removal in this cube. Don't really believe that this is a thing they can realistically defeat, so, or that they will realistically play against is maybe a better way to put it. All right, this is a pretty good hand. Tithe Taker is not the best, but you know what? It can crew a Smuggler's Copter. Right, not playing Arena. I am not playing Arena. This is going to get worse and worse for me now that Arena has people drafts. I'm just never, ever going to be able to remember the Magic Online anything. It's like I didn't play Arena for, what, 6 months? I'm not sure I did a single Eldraine draft on Arena. I got so burnt out on the... Ooh, that's a nice one. I don't think we're playing it now, though. We can also Restoration Angel Stoneforge Mystic to find our second sword, which is kind of funny. I got so burnt out on bot drafts with, like, M20. Yeah, so now it's a lot of stuff like that. Some of it is, like... limiting the number of 1/3s, for example. Like I took out Seagate Oracle from my cube a while before most cube designers did, because it's just such an effective barrier to the sorts of things that, you know, these decks want to do. Ooh, Parallax Wave is not terrible here. I'd love to find a sword. I guess Body and Mind is better against their colors notionally. Yeah, I guess I'll get that. It's a little bit less bad for me if they destroy it randomly too. We should have taken the Lightning Greaves and put it in here, so we can get it with Stoneforge Mystic and discard it to Smuggler's Copter. That's Galaxy Brain thinking. It's very plausible that opponent has a artifact removal spell here. Well, that's annoying. That's just rude. Sort of wish we'd wield that Sword of Light and Shadow now. It is the worst sword, but sometimes it does have relevant protections. That's the flavor text on every sword, is sometimes it does have relevant protections. We're just going to exile that Lyra for a few turns. Just going to go on timeout. It is unfortunate that we won't be able to play the sword here, but we wouldn't be able to get through with it anyway, so. Stupid keyboard's batteries flew out, so I have to manually click OK like some sort of Neanderthal from the days before keyboards. I am playing this Plains, even though it would be nice to have stuff to discard to the copter, because I do have 5 and 6 drops in this deck, so. It's a pretty good one. Although, it's definitely worse if you're not, like, actively drawing a bunch of cards. Also, look how good Smuggler's Copter is. I've just dealt 9 damage to them. Just with my 2-drop. Okay. It's probably bouncing Copter, I guess. I mean, it's gotta be, right? Nope. Okay. That's weird. That's a strange one. Are they planning to path my Copter? They do have the extra mana to pay for Tithe Taker, I guess. Lea's not a terrible one either. Although a little bit late. Well, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. The best I can figure here is that they're trying to remove the Copter, which kind of makes me want to play. Well, I get, yeah, no, it doesn't make sense for them to do this to keep Teferi alive. So it kind of makes me want to just play a little defensively and keep up Restoration Angel here while we attack. I'm still going to be attacking them. Well, it would be 1 mana because they can't cast things that cost 2 during my turn right now. I mean, I guess it's probably worth it to just gonk Teferi here. Ooh, well, okay. What am I Oblivion ringing? So I could O-ring their Teferi. That seems pretty mediocre. I could O-ring their Fairgrounds Warden, but like I kind of want to just O-ring the what's it called, Lyra under the Parallax Wave once she comes back. I think that might be like the safer play. Although that means I'm not using all my mana this turn, which makes me uncomfortable. But I don't really have any other answer to Lyra, so that's fine. I guess I could have just made a sword and equipped there, but I really want it on the Copter, so it doesn't help as much. Oh yeah, I guess they cannot, or we cannot. So that whole sequence was terrible. It was just really, really bad and dumb of me. Well, now I guess we figured out what we are Oblivion ringing. And I guess we're sorting them in the face, even though it does activate their Sheldock Isle, which is moderately unfortunate. Can't even resto end of turn. Oh, Planeswalker statics. What a thing you have done to the game. Ancestral Vision, huh? Okay. End of turn. I will make a sword. The funny thing is they're dead in 2 Copter sword hits anyway, which means Feast and Famine would have been a lot better here. But that's okay. So let's crew up. The thing is, do I even want to Oblivion Ring Elspeth here? Like, is she actually doing anything relevant? Like, her -3 does nothing to me. Her +1 is essentially irrelevant. I think I actually just save the O-ring here for a potential other target, which also means I think I just eagerly resto the Stoneforge Mystic. Get that second sword. And next turn we can make a sword, equip, which would be pretty fun. It means both of our flyers are lethal. I would love to use Stoneforge Mystic's ability. Thank you. I would actively have chosen not to mill them if I had the option. Because I really don't. I'm afraid of what's under here. They have, you know, access to 3 cards here. I guess 4 if they are willing to kill their Teferi, which they might. Unfortunately, we don't really have, like, anything. Like, if they try to kill Parallax Wave somehow, I guess they don't bounce it. But we don't really have anything valuable on our side of the board to exile. Oh, you know what? Actually, oh man, I punted really bad. What I was supposed to do last turn is I was supposed to Parallax Wave, exile Fairgrounds Warden, bring back Silverblade Paladin, and give my flyer double strike and just win. But I didn't. And that's okay. Sometimes we make mistakes. We have to be able to forgive ourselves for that, I think. Yeah, it would have been really cool if we'd done it. Oh dear. So I don't know exactly what they've got up their sleeve, but I do know that I can equip a bunch of swords to a bunch of helicopters and, well, a bunch of flyers, and probably win that way. I'm going to put the worse sword, which here is Feast and Famine, because they're at 13 cards in library, on what is probably the better flyer, Restoration Angel, because it can attack without needing other creatures on the board, in case they kill the flyer with the better sword on it. All right, well, let's see what you got. They could, I guess, have... what is it? The one that Path to Exiles all attacking creatures here. That would be unfortunate. Could also just Shelldock Isle something. Not sure what it is that gets past Parallax Wave here, but... And Fading is the one where if you can't remove a Fade counter, you sacrifice it, which is hilarious. I guess the Parallax enchantments wouldn't really work otherwise. Wow, okay. So they gave themselves the opportunity to cast a spell and then conceded. That's funny. It's funny. Linvala is from one of the sets where they really worked hard not to say the word Planeswalker on cards, even cards that explicitly nerfed Planeswalkers. And she looks like she should be one of those cards, but she is not. She just is not. I don't think we saw any cards that are relevant for her. I don't think we have any reason to believe Sun Titan is better than Elspeth here, so I think we just ship it back. Flyers. Flying. Powerful mechanic. No one's ever said, oh, creatures with flying. Those aren't very good. I don't know. Someone has maybe, but not me. Sorry for the weird rumbling and clicking. I'm adjusting my mic settings since I'm the only one in the room, uncharacteristically. So I think, yeah, now it's on like mono, so it won't, when I move back and forth, it won't sound weird. Indeed I have, Sarah. Indeed I have. This 5 mana source hand is in fact a keeper because there are about 60% of games where a Danto Vanguard equipped with Sword of Body and Mind is just enough to win. Playing out that Mox Pearl very early. Wonder if they have Path to Exile. Path to Exile would be good against me right here. Maybe they have Mana Tithe. That would also be good against me. Arguably be better. But apparently they have neither of those things. So instead, I just get to start slamming. Just play nothing. Oh my. Okay. Oh, they mulliganed pretty low, I guess, because they had 3 cards in hand before they cast that Ancestral. Ooh. A Relic Warder, huh? Well, I don't hate that. I'm a little bit worried that they're holding up Mana Leak or something of that description here, so I'm probably just going to play the Relic Warder, even though it's much lower value play in general, but it keeps them off the land, which is pretty good here. It does get more power on the board. Mulligan to 5. Yeah, I'm really bad at noticing how low my opponent mulligans. It's kind of a virtual mulligan to 7 though because of this fucking card. This card's very good. So they're playing a second one in a few turns too. So, you know, well, that's a bit awkward. And we don't quite have enough mana to play and equip the sword here. I think that's just not very nice. Okay. I mean, very reasonable chance that by the time this Ancestral Vision goes off, it won't matter, but they could just Wrath me here. That would suck. I don't think it's likely that they have a Wrath. I guess Adanto Vanguard survives too, so maybe it wouldn't suck that much. They tap out to Wrath, and then I attack them back for 5 damage with the Sword of Body and Mind. I guess that would be okay. Or they could do nothing. I admit I find this somewhat unsettling. Especially given that I'm drawing a lot of lands here. But, you know, they certainly did a lot of Sound and Fury signifying nothing last game. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. We are replaying the Relic Warder here, I think, pretty clearly. I mean, it's not nothing that we get to rebuy this on a better target. Also, like, as uses of Mana Confluence go, triple bounce is pretty mediocre. But it does mean that they get to resolve this Ancestral Vision with a lot more room to play with it. So that's too bad. Are they just doing nothing here? Are they just doing stuff on their second main for some reason? I think it's the latter of those two, unfortunately for me. They could have this one. The early Adanto Vanguard start didn't do quite as much as I'd hoped. I mean, I guess one of the benefits of Mystic Confluence is that you get to do that mode sometimes. Although, yeah, given that I had the sword, I guess they couldn't really afford to not bounce even the 1/1 here. Very probably bouncing? Okay. They figured it out this time. They cottoned on. I do really need to draw action here, though. Action Jackson, as they say. I think that's what they say. I have to discard, which I guess is good for me. Ravages of War. almost excellent here. I mean, do I just Ravages here? Like, they tick up their Teferi. I play a Danto Vanguard next turn. Yeah, I think I do. I think this is my best shot of winning. I don't know if I'm gonna win, but I feel like I have the board presence here. I have the cheap creatures. Ooh, that's not great. After a Ravages of War, that is unfortunate. That's also not great here for me, for Natalie, for old Natsby. All right, well, we're slamming. They cannot take that many attacks of this, so... we'll just see what happens, I guess. This is a good example of cards that are reasonable reasons to play blue-white in a more aggressive deck. Although this is not. I guess they're really just not that aggressive. They do have the Mana Leak, huh? I guess they're really kind of a control deck. Which makes this Hero of Bladehold a lot less impressive, to be honest. But we could still die. We could also just win off this Mana Crypt, though, so... you know. We are not blocking unless they stack Battlecry wrong. Which would be pretty funny. They did stack Battlecry wrong. That's pretty funny. When I play this card in person, I just say attack with Hero of Bladehold, stack it correctly. Because there's no ambiguity. Oh, that's a bad one for our hero. I mean... probably not, unless you are a green-blue-red deck with very good mana. I don't think any of the ultimatums are, like, really quite powerful enough to warrant, like, just straight up playing the, like double splashing a color to play them. Yeah, it's great if you can cast it. I mean, I've definitely played decks in Ikoria drafts that can pretty easily cast ultimatums. It's just like, I don't think you play like 7 red sources in your deck just randomly to be able to consistently hit it, or even 4. Yeah, I just don't think that one's great. I don't think the Sultai ultimatum is particularly great. I mean, it's good, again, if you can cast it, but yeah, that's fair. Oh, they are at 2 from their Mana Crypt, by the way. Oh, they have this Lyra, which means that they won't be for long. Wow, attacking with Hero. That's pretty bold. I will double block that, for sure. They will get their Power Stone back, but that's okay. They still stacked it wrong. If you can hear that music, I swear it's not mine. It is the neighbors. Elspeth's for days. This was the fucking worst Armageddon I've ever done. I mean, that's not even true. It's just like I had 1,000 lands and could only somewhat capitalize on it. But the Armageddon into Mana Crypt is pretty... What a great draw. Well, we can effectively force them to let Elspeth die. Not for nothing. Then we kind of die on the crackback, I guess, because we have to go to 6 here. Yeah, we're just dead. Oh, it was an alright game. Yeah, losing to a badly stacked Hero of Bladehold is demoralizing, to say the least. Actually, I kind of like a Myria Angel here. Flyers seem like they're very good against these people. Do I like Legion's Landing? I'm not sure I do. Cards, like they can pretty easily muster up blockers and or just keep us off 3 creatures. Oh man, this is a very controlling hand against a deck that's better at that, so I think we have to mulligan it. I will keep this, but I won't be thrilled about it. This is not a great sword for this hand either. Maybe I'm supposed to go to 6 or go to 5, but it doesn't seem awesome. Either we draw lands here or we draw cheap spells, probably. I mean, if we draw like, you know, Elspeth, yeah, there we go. If we'd drawn like Elspeth and Avacyn, we would have gotten what we deserved. Also, to be fair, in the last game, our opponent did resolve 2 Ancestral Recalls against us, so, like, what you gonna do? Hilariously, Restoration Angel cannot flicker a Muria Angel. Okay. Well, bouncing the sword there was pretty aggressive. Like, I do not have anything I can equip that to. My deck is unlikely to have anything with haste. So, I guess do what you gotta do. I might be losing to this blue-white deck. I mean, it's a good blue-white deck, so not that upsetting. But I would prefer to win, personally. Ooh, that's a strong one. Jesus. I've actually never seen this card resolve, so... All right. Well... Shit. Yeah, it's weird. I've put this... This has been in my cube since it got previewed. And we have done a number of cube drafts with it, and it's just I still have never seen it resolve. I'm sure someone's done it, and I was just not paying attention, like playing my own game or something. But oh, this is Smuggler's Copter is actually nice here because it means we can play our non-creature spells before Elspeth's last whatever gets active. And now we can play Restoration Angel next turn and crew the Copter and swing with Sword equipped. Assuming they do nothing, which is the opposite of what a safe assumption is. But we also do have to play a land to do that, which means we have less fuel for sword. Although I guess if we draw a non-land, chances are pretty good it is a cheaper creature that we can do the same plan with for less mana. So Karn, huh? Boy howdy, they got a lot of plainsy walksies. I can't really... Well, okay, you get the Celestial Colonnade. Oh boy. Gross. I can't really attack either of their planeswalkers with this Copter either because I don't want them to just bring it back with Elspeth Conqueror's Death. If they'd been clever, I feel like they would have tried to engineer it so that they could, you know, -3 to Fairy the turn before this goes off, so they get back a full price or a full loyalty to Fairy. But I guess clever is not necessarily what they've been this draft. Having good cards is a thing they've been for sure, though. Which, like, I guess means they were clever during the draft portion. So next turn, I suppose... I guess they're discarding Colonnade here, probably. Well, Another Pier is not the worst. I suppose they're probably bouncing Copter, I guess. Getting back Karn with... This is expensive because of Elspeth. Getting back Karn... or Ancestral with Karn, drawing 1,000,000 cards, having up 1,000,000 counter spells, whatever. I gotta say, That was not the most impressive Elspeth Conqueror's Death I've seen. And it was still pretty good. Still just 5 mana kill Emeria Angel there did go a long way towards winning them the game. Wow, they did the thing I thought they'd do. And they did discard Celestial Colonnade, so I don't know what's in their hand. This Monastery Mentor will definitely kill me eventually if I don't kill them first. I mean, they do have to get rid of both of my flyers, sort of. They can't just let me attack. But all they need to draw is like the bounce 3 things spell or whatever, and they got it. So, and it looks, I mean, if they pass here, I think it's safe to assume that that's what they drew. Hello. Also, their Shelldock Isle is active, so just for the extra rubbins. Oh, they haven't activated Teferi yet, either. I wonder if they remember that. If this is a non-creature spell, post-combat after attacking with Monastery Mentor. Yep, that's funny. They don't have a great Teferi bounce here. Although, I think it's plausible that they just kill me with Monk next turn after all this. And they did tap out of, you know, what's it called? 3 you do a million very strong things. Split card, unsummon, mana leak. Okay, that's fine. That saves them 1 point of damage and makes me spend some more mana, which is, you know, reasonable. Alright. Okay. That's a nice backup if I don't draw something better with Smuggler's Copter. And it'll, you know, chump a Monastery Mentor. Uh-oh. Is that where it went? That would be pretty sick. Cryptic Command. Christ alive. They've got it all. Well, that's very strong. I guess I'll replay the Copter. Maybe I was supposed to replay Tithe Taker there. I guess Tithe Taker blocks Mentor, but Copter has a very good shot of just dealing them 5 damage next turn, which means that if I mean, obviously a lot of things have to go right in order for that to happen, and then they also have to take 3 damage off of Mana Crypt, but I think that is more likely to win me the game than blocking with Tithe Taker and dealing 4 damage off the token, you know? Leaving up so much mana here. I'm upset. I mean, obviously I'm quite dead, but I don't know what they're thinking about here. If they have Mystic Confluence, that's the card whose name I keep forgetting. If they have Mystic Confluence, they are definitely not supposed to cast it here. Well, all right. They're paving the way for us to win this game. Casting Mystic Confluence here is much worse for them if we don't have another creature in hand. Or if we do have another creature in hand, which, as it turns out, we do. I mean, I guess if they have a removal spell as backup too, it doesn't matter as much. But, like, one of the ways we win is by attacking for 5 and then... I can't imagine that they don't have anything here. I just can't imagine it. But I guess they haven't been playing stellarly, so it's possible. Wow, okay, so we are a coin flip away from winning this game. I feel like the way our luck's been going, we aren't gonna, but you never know. Right? What is this? They have a thing? What could possibly be relevant at this juncture? Oh. Yeah, that does it. We're dead. I'm not even going to wait and see if they win the flip or not. Too demoralizing. Oh, man. All right. Well, they won that game fair and square. That was, in fact, extremely fair matching. They multi 5, we multi 5. They had 2 ancestrals when they multi 5. We had 0 ancestrals when we multi 5. You know, fair magic. I guess we multi 6, but it was a really bad 6. Maybe we should have multi 5. I don't know if you were on the stream I was talking about this last, Michelle, but I've been kind of lamenting the fact that, like, with all of these wild Busto blue cards they're printing in Standard lately, it feels like the era of my cube, like the modern cube being the cube where blue is not obviously the best color, is just coming to an end, and I feel a little sad about that. But at the same time, I'm not going to put these cards in it, right? This hand would be very good if any of the 4, 5, or 6 drops were instead a 2 or a 3 drop. Ideally a 2 drop. I think we can do better. This is better. It's actually fairly substantially better. I'm going to bottom the Serpent because it's not really great until 3 anyway, and I already have 2 3s. It's really not great until 5 or whatever, but yeah, that's fine. You can see what I'm working with. Land isn't great. Maybe we should be playing 16 lands. If we had more stuff in the sideboard, I would consider playing 16 lands and no Elspeth, but we don't. We pivoted into mono white at the very end of pack 1, so we don't. So they're holding up a counterspell for Gideon here, right? Basically, undoubtedly. Yeah, exactly. When you put it that way, it sounds especially egregious. Since they're, well, Are they holding up a counterspell? They can't pay double blue here. But they could definitely pay single blue. I'm just going to play a Thalia. I think Thalia will fuck with them plenty. And if they want to counter her, which it looks like they are, it's less of a skin off my nose than if they counter Gideon. And it also interferes with their ability to counter things in future turns, so there you go. Yeah, they just can't play cancel variants. Well, I guess now they can. I mean, do we care? Like, do we even bother doing anything here? We're winning on the board. We have some amount of Wrath protection. I think we just keep slamming. The absence of any information about what the hell they're doing. What is this? I don't like this. Oh, never mind. I do like that. That's fine. They can pay 6 mana to gush. Good old 6 mana divination. Upheaval, sadly, is a sorcery. Which is funny, because it would be so much worse if you cast it at instant speed. Like, you could just make it an instant and it wouldn't even matter, because it would be terrible. But what is this now? Are they just playing the, yeah, okay. That's decent. I guess they are blocking. I mean, I guess they have to block Thalia here. I could stop that, but I could also let that happen because it lets me drop. Like, one of these creatures is dying here, right? No, Thalia is just so valuable against them. Unfortunately, I guess I could only play one of these anyway, because I've only made... I've already made my land drop this turn. Yeah, I can't just play this. I have to O-ring their guy first. Which is fine. I wonder if they do even have a counterspell there, or if I've just been holding on to this Gideon for no reason but cowardice. They probably do, right? I'm going to assume they do. I have been assuming that they do. My favorite thing about Magic Online is how it has these little like pop-ups in the corner of your screen where it will, you know, tell you, oh, your draft is ready and whatever, but they never just go away on their own. So like I just cleared out 3 on my other screen and it was like, don't forget this league will be ending soon because it's only a week-long league. And then it was like, you submitted your deck. Good job. Okay, great. Thank you. Very relevant to me right now at this time in my life. At this point, maybe I should just play Gideon to bait out the counterspell. Like, I have enough mana here that it's reasonable to think that... Okay, they're just tapping down anyway. Oof, Sensei's Divining Top. This Thalia has been truly brutal for them. I was right to save it. They just spent, what, 3 extra mana this turn? Tapped down below what they could spend on a counterspell here just because of Thalia. I guess I'll give this lifelink because I don't really have anything else to do with it. I probably stop playing lands here because I can play Ancient Tomb and immediately cast Elspeth anyway, even through Thalia. And oh my god, yes, sure, whatever. And I do have an Armageddon in the deck, which doesn't look great against all these signets, but for all that we have done anything and they have done nothing, I don't think we're winning this game. I would like to be much further ahead against the mono blue deck at this point, before they play something like an Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, for a cool 9 mana. That +2s to, oh, or that, I guess. That's pretty good. Yeah, all right. Can't fault you for that play. Oh man, so I can play Revelark and they plus Ugin to kill it and I get my Selfless Spirit back. yeah, this is why I wasn't feeling great about our position, and I was vindicated. Maybe mono white isn't good in this cube, or maybe this isn't a good mono white deck. Hard to say. Probably a combination of both. If only we'd stuck to our guns and drafted Storm. I'm not even sure it would have been a great Storm deck. Like, we saw 2 important cards, but we didn't see a lot of the, like, medium glue that holds that deck together. Especially, like, fixing lands were kind of few and far between in that draft. So, and, like, you know, we were looking at being 3 colors. Could have been pretty awkward. Leonin Relic Order, huh? Wait, did they not kill this? Oh, no, I guess that was last turn. Vendilion Clique. Sure, I'm just going to concede. They have iron control over that game at that point. I don't really like Ravages of War against the Triple Signet deck, if I'm being honest. I would rather have the Emeria Angel. This, again, doesn't affect Cygnus. It is unclear to me why this is in the cube. I guess it hoses green creatures, which doesn't seem like a great reason to me, personally, but what do I know? I'm just a cube designer of many years' experience. We're probably just playing the Stonecoil Serpent for 3 mana on turn 2 with this Ancient Tomb. Yeah, but, like, I mean, I guess aesthetically that's kind of a reason, but it's not a gameplay reason. You want the cube to be fun to play, right? You want it to be an enjoyable experience. You want every card to contribute to that experience somehow. It's not like a booster release where you just put in a neat card because hopefully Johnny will find something to do with it, right? I don't know. Paul Cheon, you have much to answer for. At some point, this Revel Arc is getting back the Stonecoil Serpent, which will immediately die. I know Paul Cheon does not maintain this cube anymore, so. Thalia was an excellent draw here, by the way. A turn 2 Thalia, I think, has a very good chance of essentially single-handedly defeating their deck. We can even play Gideon Blackblade next turn with this Ancient Tomb. What? That's not a non-creature spell. Parallax Wave is good against Sting in the Ice, though. I like this more than Stonecoil Serpent because it is also a 4/4, and it makes my Thalia gain back the life I spent on it, so neat. Let's gain 3 life. Let's go to 22. We're gonna win this game because you can't cast non-creature spells. I guess while you can, in fact, cast Thing of the Ice on turn 2 against Thalia, you can't really get the counters off all that easily. You know, I have just never been very impressed with this card. It looks like it should be sweet in like the, non-creature spells matter deck, but I can probably count the number of times I've seen it actually flip on one hand. And yes, some of that's because it sort of demands an answer at some point, but a lot of it is also because it's just not, like, great. Yeah, exactly. It's very high variance. And like when it's not great, it's just a defender, which sort of on the same line of not nerfing X1s in my cube, I kind of try to avoid playing a bunch of like random defenders. Like, I'll have Wall of Blossoms in there, even though it's in Modern now. Because they kind of... I took out Wall of Roots as well. Because those defenders kind of just serve to just slow down decks like this, right? Like, if you want to put a card like Thalia in your cube or a card like Legion's Landing, you gotta build your cube so that these decks win sometimes, right? Or else it's just a trap. You're just mocking your players. I like the 6/6 Stonecoil Serpent, by the way. And part of doing that is making sure that there is an opening. Like if you're playing this mono blue hyper control deck, that there has to be an opening for like the go low, go wide white deck to get in there and snag wins. Obviously, I did just do that, even though they played a Thing in the Ice. But cards like Thing in the Ice make it incrementally more difficult for decks like this to do that. I don't think that's necessarily a problem, but I would rather have cards that the other deck sort of has to go out of their way to get and to prioritize in order to be able to stand up against these decks, rather than just make it sort of the default if you're playing cards that you kind of already want to play. So, like, for example, in my cube, I have, what's it called? The 1/1 mirror that shocks something when it dies. That's been in my cube for a million years, inspired by Justin Treadway. He was my cube mentor for a while. And it's Perilous. Thank you, Perilous Mirror. And Perilous Mirror is sweet because like a lot of decks don't super want it, but if you need that early creature defense, it's very, very good at it. So you can sort of draft it as a sideboard card against the aggro decks if you're a more controlling deck. This is fine. It's not great, but it's all right. Get some defense in there, but you have to go out of your way and take Perilous Mirror over other cards that you might actually want in your deck. You have to make the rest of your deck a little bit weaker for that. And that's not a way that this cube is built. All right, so we have a 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's pretty good. I mean, Restoration Angel isn't really doing anything right now. Blinking Stonecoil Serpent is not the best thing I've ever seen. We might, given this, we might just skip Stonecoil on 3. It's not really doing anything against Thing in the Ice, so we don't have any other ground creatures to like attack around it. Probably better to just play it on 17 eventually or whatever. Force them to hold their mana up. Oh, they have a Vendilion Click? Sure. Although they were stopped on my upkeep, not my draw, so that's a little confusing. If they pass with a bunch of mana up again, I'm probably just playing Restoration Angel at the end of their turn rather than rawing out Emeria Angel. Even though it means we will miss some land drop or landfall triggers. Just can't rely on this ever-resolving Caracas, huh? Sorry, Avacyn, you are potentially out of this game. Okay, that's not great against me. I guess a 2/2 flyer persist is fine here, though. I mean, Avacyn is still 5 mana, give all my creatures indestructible, so I guess that's not nothing. And it does make them tap the Caracas. Given that they're tapped out now, we are playing Emeria Angel, even though, granted, we could just resolve the Smuggler's Copter. I think Emeria is enough stronger that it's worth doing this. Yeah, that's fine. Now, that doesn't block Angel tokens. So, bird tokens. Bird tokens? Yeah. Lady just really likes Emrakul for some reason. Okay. Sure. Keeping that mana up, I see. We could also, like, potentially play Avacyn at the end of their turn just to... Oh, they tapped for Gitaxian Probe, huh? That's bold. I guess they know everything we're doing now, so we're not going to take them by any kind of surprise. All right, well, we have a window of opportunity to land some stuff. Probably... Always yield, always yes. Probably Smuggler's Copter here. This thing in the ice is actively becoming dangerous now. So maybe it's better to just hold up Restoration Angel. Wait, does this bounce? Yeah, okay, it bounces it bounces only creatures, so I think getting the Smoctor out there is pretty good regardless. Hello? My keyboard run out of batteries or something? I don't know. I put the thing back in, so I'm not sure what's going on. Once again, we have not dealt nearly enough damage to them early enough for me to be confident in this game. I guess they probably sided in the Karakas just to deal with Thalia, which is pretty funny, but I think probably justified given how incredibly badly she fucks over their deck. What are they thinking about? Emeria Angel has flying. They can't block here. They have no mana. What exactly is the deal right now? Also, why did they attack with Glenelendra? I guess they weren't planning on jumping, which makes some amount of sense. So how are your days going? Do you have a good week? I took Wednesday off to hang out with Liz, and that was really nice. And then tonight, Krista and I had some, like, one-on-one Dark Souls time, which was very fun. I've been engaging a little bit less intensely with the tenant organizing lately, which is good for my overall sanity levels, I think. While that is an extremely important thing to do. Yeah, I guess my keyboard is just not really functioning right now. Well, I think it is a very important thing to do. I can't devote all of my time and energy to it all of the time. The space around the battery feels very hot too, so I hope it's not like burning itself out or something. I'm gonna take these batteries out for a bit. Oof, they are toasty. Hope I didn't fuck something up somehow. Maybe I should replace these. Oh boy, I think they're flipping a thing in the ice. That's not the sort of thing I want them to do. It's not very nice, if you know what I mean. Because the card's name is Thing in the Ice. Yeah, they're really getting to do basically whatever they want to. One more land, they can Ugin. Almost certainly cannot beat an Ugin, even with the Stonecoil Serpent, which is sort of immune. Just by virtue of being colorless. I'm assuming that their plan here is to flip Thing in the Ice when I go to attack, so I'm probably not going to crew Smuggler's Copter this coming turn. Thank you for that pity laugh, Michelle. I always appreciate pity. Oh, I was not supposed to play a land there, but... Nothing? Are they trying to trick me into thinking they don't have a spell? Because they have 3 cards in hand. They are playing a spells deck. Like, Torrential Gearhulk, huh? Yeah, so this is a spell. Yup, and it bounces their Gearhulk hilariously. Oh no! My recommendation as an expert knitter in my own right, as you know, is to use the right size of needle, actually. Kumizawa's Jite? Wow, they were scared of my deck. They can't possibly have this in the main board. Is this Ugin? If this is Ugin, I scoop. Okay. This game match draft is not going great. But unlike Arena, Magic Online does have some amount of consolation prize. Like, I mean, half a draft of consolation prize in the losers bracket. So I will play it out. It's there is some amount of grace in the fact that Arena gives you nothing if you want to. Just get to drop with dignity after going 0-2. Some amount of dignity. You can't drop with that much dignity after you go 0-2. I bet we could have pulled at least one of those matches out, too, if we'd stuck to our guns and played Storm. Honestly, like, part of the problem here is that we just don't have that much of a density of cheap, powerful creatures. Like, we have a lot of 3s and 4s, more than you really want in this deck. So, and like only one drop and it's mediocre. So like, it's not just that this is a bad deck in the cube. I think this is also a bad version of this deck, which is weird because White was like gaping wide open pack 1. I guess maybe other people saw that as well and acted on it. We've got one drop. I mean, honestly, Legion's Landing into Honor of the Pure is pretty decent here. I wish we had anything to back it up with other than removal spells, but... I wonder what our actual creature count is. It can't be that high. I'm guessing like 14 or something like that. Maybe a little bit more. This is the point where if Liz were here, I'd ask her to bring me a whiskey, but she's not. Uh-oh. We are guaranteed to be playing against a better aggro deck than we are right now. Yup. I mean, Legion's Landing into Honor of the Pure is a potential way we can not just completely eat shit here, so that's good. Like a 2/2 lifelink is... That's not the card I wanted to cast. Is very real, and we are playing Honor of the Pure before Thalia for that reason, but... Ooh, if my keyboard's broken, I can't press F8. That is unfortunate. Yeah, it really feels like there is one of these batteries that has lost its shit because it is much hotter than the other. I guess I should replace these batteries. Finger of Destiny. All right, Jackuel Pup is fine. This is a card that has no business being in this cube, by the way. It's not very good. There are a lot of better versions of this effect, and I do not stand behind putting in a shitty version of an effect for which good versions exist just to nerf a cube. I think that is cowardice. Or to nerf a color in a cube. Could play Smuggler's Copter here. They can attack through it with this anyway. I think I'd rather play Honor of the Pure. So I can keep this back and threaten to block Jackal Pup, in which case they probably just don't attack with Jackal Pup, or they remove my Vampire and attack with Jackal Pup. I think that's worse than just attacking with Vampire, letting them attack back, and net, I am still at the same life as if they just didn't attack with Jackal Pup, but they are down 2 life, so. This Parallax Wave is going to be pretty decent against them, I think. Oh, a little bit awkward with Thalia, but probably they'll just kill my Thalia, so that's nice, I guess. Or just attack around it with Figure of Destiny as another possibility. Yep. Just as I predicted. Throwing a 3-drop creature here would be alright. Okay. I guess so. I mean, Thalia's fine. Thalia is acceptable. She doesn't block the 4/4, but she does block the 2/1, so. And I get to gain some life, and this Jackal Pup is kind of outmoded at this point, so. Someone's messaging me about work stuff at 12:30 a.m. on a Friday. I mean, technically a Saturday. I choose not to copy Chain Lightning. That's just a choice I'm making. I'm going to come back to that at another juncture when I'm not streaming and on my leisure time. I was right, though. This lifelinker is doing work. I was also right that they probably would have just Chain Lightninged this if we'd left it back to block. I am also right that this Parallax Wave is going to be pretty good here. So is Revelark if it resolves. I mean, if I get the land to cast it is obviously what that actually means. Jim himself, huh? The Lava Man, sir. That goes away for a period of time to be determined at the end of this rhyme. Probably won't actually finish this rhyme, but when I do, you'll know how much time. Parallax Wave and Revelark is also a combo. Word to the wise. Ooh. A combo we will, in fact, be inactualizing, which is almost possibly a word. It's a weird game for us to be doing all right in, but I'm not too sad about it. So like what we can do with this Revelark is if they try to do the 2-for-1 on it, attack into it with Jackal Pup, I block, they Grim Lavamancer it to kill it. We just put it under Parallax Wave. We get Thalia back, which is pretty good. And then eventually Revelark itself also comes back once Parallax Wave pops. I guess it's not really a 2-for-1 because tapping Grim Lavamancer doesn't really count as a card, but yeah, sort of same deal here, except they don't take 5 off Jackal Pup, which is unfortunate for us. Zoop. And we do, like, since Revelark leaves the battlefield, which is my favorite thing about that card, we do get the trigger. Parallax Wave is great because no matter what you do with it, you feel more intelligent than everyone around you. It's like Mensa, but in a magic card. Even when you play it wrong, to be clear. I guess we are resolving a Smopter and passing the turn, because I don't really want to Oblivion Ring either of these creatures. There's a very reasonable chance they will trade Jackalpup for Vampire here, but I think that's fine. We've gained our 10 life off of it or whatever. I mean, there's Vesperlark. Does that count? A reference to Revelark. Yeah. It is a dumb and wrong way to do the mechanic, honestly. One of my pet peeves with the way, I think especially like cards that are engineered for specific constructed effects get designed, is that they will specifically subvert the purpose of a mechanical differentiation. So like one of the mechanical differentiations of like bouncing something versus killing it, or having a dies trigger versus a enters the battlefield trigger, for example, is that like you want to have them trigger at different times. You want them to be weaker to different effects, and the sort of you can have your cake and eat it too leaves the battlefield triggers undermine that. It just says like this card is more powerful for the sake of going against the conventions of what Magic cards usually do, and I don't like that. Possible you're just supposed to take another counter off Parallax Wave there, and just so we could bash with Revelark. In fact, it is more than possible. I would say we were supposed to do that, and I didn't. And I feel silly about it. But I think we're doing just fine. I will choose not to do this. Thank you for the opportunity. I would rather just bash. We are just absolutely willing to take a few damage on the crackback here. We are not within risk range of mono red at this point, really. They are within risk range of us. Watchmen. Yeah, I mean, I agree, right? Like, building a cube, you kind of have to sort of have an appreciation of the stuff that shouldn't have been printed, because so much of the cube is made up of that. I mean, unless you want to build a cube that is non-broken cards, which is a totally reasonable thing to do, but not what I do. Not really what any of the major sort of schools of cube design philosophy are all about. This is why I haven't cut Oko from my cube, for example, despite the fact that everyone currently hates him, because I feel like a couple years down the line, when he's less of an immediate boogeyman, there will be, it'll be cool to play with it in the same way that it's kind of cool to play with Jace the Mind Sculptor right now, or Skull Clamp, or Jite, or whatever, any of these like former boogeymen of the standard format, and to some degree other formats as well, are we sideboarding anything? I mean, we could sideboard into red, like Flame Slash is good against mono red, but none of the rest of these cards really are. We don't have any fixing, so we're not going to do that. We could go away from Elspeth. It's probably just a good idea in general. Like 6 drops aren't really where you want to be against mono red towards like Linvala. Linvala's got a pretty big butt. She doesn't die to Lightning Bolt. And she nerfs what is it? The level up guy and Grim Lavamancer. I mean, to be fair, Oko is on a whole another level than most of the cards I mentioned. Figure, thank you. Except maybe Jace the Mind Sculptor. In terms of being both a multi-format boogeyman and in terms of being a Unreal Cube card. What a stupid design they did. And I'm considering Oko to come out of the cube at some point, but I want to let him have his day first. His horny topless day. What is my opponent up to? How exactly do you side differently against this deck than you just play a deck in general? I guess maybe a little bit more creature removal is probably good. Wow, they're just timing out their deck submission, huh? Sometimes that means they, like, disconnected, which would suck. Yeah, I mean, that is certainly a problem with Oko, is just feels miserable to play against. And even to some extent to play with. So, maybe I'm trying too hard to keep him in, I don't know. I think he's, like, part of the problem also is that he fills a really important slot. Like, the blue-green hasn't really had a good planeswalker in forever and ever at any point in time. And Oko is a good blue-green planeswalker, and that's awesome. And it means, like, what do I replace him with? Do I go back to, like, X Nissa? It's not a great card, you know? Can I... Okay, I guess I can't F8 from right-click. That's nice. But, yeah, it is possible that he's just too miserable and I should take him out. I did that with Vidalcan Shackles ages ago. That's fine. They get to do that, and that's okay. I can't really play Gideon here. Although I will soon, I think. I don't think I saw anything for Leonin Relic Order, which I guess maybe means that card should come out if I sideboard again. But they might play something. You never know. There are good red artifacts and enchantments, like Sulfuric Vortex, for example. Would be very good here because I have a fair amount of opportunities for lifelink going on. Char, huh? Alright. Yeah. Char away. Little bird. I will block this Bomat Courier. Well, I would have blocked this Bomat Courier. Although now I will just Leonin Relic Order it, I suppose. Yeah, Honor of the Pure here is excellent. As I'm guessing you all could figure out. Yeah, I'll make a Relic Order. I'm just holding these back to block. I think my hand is strong enough that I don't really have a reason to go on the offensive right now. And just take a bunch of damage. Well, actually, you know what? I am attacking. If they want to get in for 4 damage, that's okay. I get to Black Blade, give something lifelink next turn. Ooh, that's a good one. They're playing big red aggro. Yeah, it's I try to have one planeswalker for each color pair. Black white actually gets 2 because it needs the help. But for the most part, yeah, 1 per. Oh, and they do get to get in with Bomat Courier. Boo. Well, that could have gone better. Ooh, Selfless Spirit here is nice, actually. So this means that I can do a bunch of multi-blocking and only the Selfless Spirit dies. Not attacking this time. I am in much less of a good position than I was last turn. Turns out, 4/4 Menace Flametongue Kavu is kind of brutal. Their best play here is probably just... Ooh. Well, never mind. It's Shrine of Burning Rage. I mean, in terms of the board, their best play is probably to just 1-for-1 Selfless Spirit and attack. But if they can't do that, then we're in a pretty good position because effectively cannot attack. I mean, this shrine will get me eventually, but Bomat Courier, huh? I guess just the sacrificial Bomat is pretty reasonable. Attack, sacrifice it after I block to basically draw 2 cards. I like this card. I don't have it in my cube because it feels like it kind of just fits in these super aggressive decks, and I try to limit the number of red cards that just fit in super aggressive decks, but it is sweet. Get to do stuff like that. Unfortunately, playing Gideon next turn still isn't great, because it doesn't, like, really give them worse attacks. Okay, sure. I just have a bunch of 4/4s, and I have a bunch of 2/2s, and that makes me uncomfortable. I mean, I will have this Restoration Angel at some point. But I'd really like to start ticking up Gideon as well. Land, huh? Alright. I think we can afford to take a turn to Gid. You must be gidding me. Unfortunately, we can't afford to lifelink yet, but we can Vigilance here. Start pecking them down a bit. Interestingly enough, this aggro on aggro game is the most like strategically interesting game we've played so far. People say aggro doesn't require thought. And they're wrong about that. I guess if they really want to, they can shrine my Selfless Spirit here and then not attack, and then, Kraken, have the way clear to Kraken next turn. Doesn't seem like a great use of shrine, but the Selfless Spirit really is, yeah, you're doing it. If I draw a Reveler here, I am made in every kind of shade. The Selfless Spirit, if I win this game, it's because of this guy. The play of like using this to one-sided fog effectively is so strong. All right, so they do get to 8/8 this next turn, which is not the best for me. Also, this Restoration Angel got worse now that I don't have a relevant creature for it in play. This prevents all damage that would be dealt to it during my turn, right? So I can slam with this. I can get in and threaten to get in 8 damage. Unfortunately, that's not actually enough here, but and this is until end of turn, right? So unfortunately, I cannot do anything cute with like using it, Restoration Angeling it, using it again to get like double lifelink or something. But nevertheless, this is totally fine. They either have to chump this or go to 5, which is pretty good for me considering that I have 4 power of flying on the battlefield and 4 more sitting at my hand to be used at instant speed. Plus Gideon just kills something next turn if I want him to. And if they do want to fully level Figure, they're spending almost all of their mana to do that. So it's unlikely that they'll be able to... Oh, they're at 4, not 5. I guess I miscounted. It's unlikely that they're going to be able to like do the finishing blow, kill both Restoration Angel and Spirit Token, especially with this Honor of the Pure in play. Like they could potentially, shock Spirit Token, Fire Blast Restoration Angel, but not at this point. Ooh. That's not good for me. That is not at all good for me. That's lethal, even with this angel, huh? Yep. Yeah, it is. Fiery Confluence is a very powerful card. Oh, they aren't content for that to be lethal. Oh, I guess they also always do have the Runaway Steamkin extra mana if they really needed it, but they didn't. They got me fair and square. Yeah, I still like this main deck. Wait, no, we actually saw 2 things that Relic Warder is good against, so I don't think we actually need to side it out. Thought we might, but we don't. Reveler would have been very, very good there, but we didn't get it. I guess now I wish I'd taken like Baneslayer Angel or something, but can't have it all. These swords are probably not great against them. Actually, you know what? I'm siding out sort of Body and Mind for a Myria Angel. I want 1 sword because it just makes Stoneforge Mystic playable. But actually, is Body and Mind better than Feast and Famine? It makes a blocker, which is pretty good. Luckily, they take a million years to sideboard, so... Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I wonder where we keep the batteries. I used to know at the old house. I think I know. But I'm not 100% sure. It's strange being in a new house. Although we're getting plenty of experience with it right now, I guess. I was really hoping I'd get to spend some of this time, doing some dedicated unpacking and stuff. But like everyone, I overestimated the amount of spare energy I would have. Did you move, Michelle? Oh boy. I think this is a plausibly keepable hand against some decks, but Adanto Vanguard is not good on the defense, so I don't think we can keep it here. Ooh. First time we've seen balance. I think I remember you talking about that, but I'm not sure I remember you doing it. Oh my gosh. Well, not with a bang, but with a whimper. Wow, that's a lot of burned out light bulbs. Are you in a house now or what? Okay. That's a really tremendous amount of light bulbs for an apartment. How many light bulbs do you even have? Do we just raw out this relic order? We can't possibly. Not if we haven't even given them a chance to play Shrine. They didn't mulligan. Cheeky bastards. It's hilarious how much better our first hand would have been. By that I mean dismaying. But that's the game. I want to tweet about how I'm going to do another draft soon, but my keyboard's dead. I guess I have a phone. What are they doing? What are they thinking about? Okay, great. That's a good card. Why didn't you just play it? We're going to play Silverblade Paladin, and they're going to kill it. And then we're going to draw nothing, and then we're going to concede. That's my official prediction. If they don't kill it and we don't draw anything, I guess we make a double striking Relic Order. Hey, a thing Relic Order can deal with, huh? Huh? Ah, it's a removal spell, though. Watch it be a removal spell. Yeah. That's a removal spell. I mean, with identical draws, the it's really funny. With identical draws, the hand we mulliganed first would also have lost to this. So the one-lander probably would have won, though. but you can't keep a 1-lander on the play. A 1-lander with 0 castable spells. I will do that. Thank you for the opportunity. Goth. All right. What did I say? I said we would play the double striker, and they would remove it, and we would play Relic Warder, and we would draw nothing, and we would concede, and that's exactly what happened. So I may not be good at drafting decks, but I am good at predicting the future.